All right, hello everyone. This is Josh, also known as Yashu. You're just tuning into episode 84 of the TLOY Talks podcast. As mentioned, you're gonna get this on all platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Buzzsprout, much more. Yeah, we're just gonna get it started right here and all that. So, an up and coming artist, like a dope rapper from the city and all that, has dropped like a lot of songs such as like Creature, that Claire made, Blue Moon, Moon Man, Beat the Odds, like Floating. He has opened up for ReadyRockDee and all that, and is set to go on tour like in Europe and also within South America within the next coming month and all that. So we have Don Enzo in the building. How are you doing today, man?
I'm doing good, man. I appreciate you for having me out here. I like the podcast and the interviews you've been doing.
Yeah, man. Like we've been tapping in, I think, since like earlier like this year and all that, and like yeah, I've been like checking out the stuff. It's like pretty dope from there and all that, and you know, amazing to see like a lot of like upcoming talent and all that. You know, so.
Hey, man, like for me, it's just always been, I wanted to see Toronto at the forefront. Like Toronto's a city that I grew up in, so it's something that like I wanted to show that it's not all bullshit. That like there's a lot of people that don't take it serious. They're just in it because rapping is cool. They're not in it because they love it, or they're not in it because that they really like this was a craft that like I grew from. It's something from like I can't even when I decided to not do it in my life, it just kept coming back.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. And you know, like it is like amazing to see like here as well too, and like you know, I definitely like want to get like started right here. So you know, earlier we talked about you know that you grew up in the West End. So what was that like growing up? And would you say was it like blessed growing up, or was it like very different?
Like honestly, you know, my mom did a great job, like making me not feel like I didn't have as much as other people. Like, you know, I won't say because, you know, everybody has like their own trials and tribulations, you know what I'm saying, at the end of the day. But, you know, there was a lot of things that I struggled with, that we struggled with, that other people didn't, you know. A lot of my family was trying to figure out kind of the way in Canada and stuff like that. And I also grew up with a stigmatism, basically. It's an eye disability called Nystagmus. So nobody really knew that in my family, kind of what I was going through. So I kind of was dealing with trying to figure out why, because basically what nystagmus is it makes my eyes shake involuntarily.
Yeah.
So I can see you're not moving, but like when I try to read, the letters move. So it's struggle. Like when I was a kid, like I'm trying to tell my parents that have no idea like what I'm going through, like why I'm failing in school and shit.
Yeah.
And it's because like I couldn't tell them that like, oh, I can't read properly. But like as a kid, like I thought everybody saw like that. So it was like a lot of struggles like that, just dealing with like issues I didn't know how to comprehend. And then, you know, I grew up in an area that all around the West Side, we moved a lot. And like, you know, we didn't have much more than you. But like, for example, like, you know, when my mom we lived right by Vaughan Road, St. Clair, my mom's car got broken into about like 7 times in 1 year. So it was like stuff like that where like, we literally called my mom, like, we don't believe in calling the police. And my mom called the police, and you know what they told her to do? They said, leave your door unlocked so they don't smash your window. And I'm like, that's how you help the people? You know, you're not even like I thought you were supposed to protect people, right? Yeah. So it was just, that was just things that I started to see. So from a young age, I started to become very skeptical of a lot of things, because I'm like, these are the people that are supposed to help us. But then, you know, there's halfway houses in my neighborhood. I was like, I'd be walking to school at 8, 9 years old, and I'll watch like a crackhead talk to their Tim Hortons cup, like have a full-on conversation, and they're talking back to it, right? Yeah. And it's like, that was just regular. Yeah. So I wouldn't say, you know, it was just, that was regular shit to me. I didn't really see anything. I didn't realize that I grew up a little differently than other people until I got more perspective as an adult. And I started going to college and meeting people who grew up outside of the city. And then they're like, I've never seen a crackhead before. Like, I've never come home and seen somebody drunk passed out on the staircase. Like, but that was shit that like my mom would be like, all right, don't look, just step over the body, you know? Like, and this guy's literally just slumped on the floor.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean, man. Yeah, nah, I definitely know what you mean. And like, you know, like even with the whole like eye like situation too, has like affected you like in terms of like bullying and all that too?
100%, yeah. I got bullied a lot. I like just growing up, because I was different, I was a very like stuck to myself type of person. So I did get kind of picked on. Anything that make you look a little different, you know what I mean? They'd be like, especially as a kid, my eyes shook more. And then it would also make me like, my eyes would focus a different way. So if I was having a hard time focusing, I would like turn my head a certain direction or a certain angle, so people would kind of make fun of that. And as a kid, it would bother me. I don't give a fuck now. Like, I love everything about me, regardless if it's an imperfection or whatever now. But as a kid, like, you just want to be the same as everyone.
Yeah, no.
You know, you want to fit in wherever you can, right?
So true. Yeah, no, I know what you mean, man. And like, even in the West End, was it like big for like music, like at the time growing up?
Honestly, man, like, so I'm not sure. How old are you?
I'm 27.
Okay, you're 27. So I'm 1 year older than you. So you kind of probably have a decent idea too of like, I'm 28. So when I was a kid, like, yo, the Toronto scene wasn't really like flourishing like it was. Like, you know what I mean? Like before, like, to be honest, like, whatever your opinion is about the guy, like before Drake, the Toronto scene didn't really have any like validity.
Yeah, because like, I mean, they had like Cardinal.
We had Cardinal, we had Snow, like with Infama. We had other people from Canada, Classified. We had some people out here. We had like Swollen Members, Mad Child Prevail from BC, you know, then SDK, Snack the Ripper and stuff came out. Like, there's definitely people putting in work. I don't want to take any credit away from anyone, but it didn't really seem real in terms of like an industry until Drake started popping off. I'll be honest. Like, the only thing I had as a kid that we were looking out for was King of the Dot. Like, the battle scene, like, that's kind of what influenced the way that I rap. And everything was the battle scene, because in my neighborhood, I'd link up with my family. My family would show me like old school shit, like from the US, like Tupac. Like, I grew up on that stuff, Wu-Tang, Onyx. But then I'd go to my neighborhood and then I would pull up on my friends in the ends, and then they'd be like, yo, did you hear the new King of the Dot battle with DNA and Arcane? And like, that was the shit I would wait for that. I would wait for the new Sway in the morning, 5 Fingers of Death. I'd wait for the new Ebro in the morning, Hot 97 freestyle, Funk Flex freestyle, you know? Now LA Leakers, all that. Like, that was something that I fiended for. Like, we waited for, and we'd get to school, fuck school. We're discussing like the bars in the battle.
Yeah, no. So I mean, like, I'm born in like 96 and all that too. So like, even like around that time, like 08, 09, 2010, 2011, it was like Heartless G and all that.
Yeah.
Like French Montana, K Coke, like all those like other people and all that. Like, we were like definitely like tuning into that, you know, Waka Flocka Flame and all that, Gucci, like a lot of other people too. And then also the mainstream stuff as well too. So it's like a good like mix and all that. So
I mean, that's how it was. I mean, and Heartless G, like, we were in the forefront of seeing that just because like I went to Oakwood at that time. Like, I started at Oakwood in 2009, 2010.
True. No,
you know, so that was like something that no matter what, like, it was the school definitely showed a lot of shit. There was a lot of people that I went to school with that are notable. I'm not even gonna call them out now, but a lot of people in my school were there that were in the scene. I went with a few rappers in the game right now.
Because I know Oakwood, they also had the whole like Tiger thing that happened like 20.
That was They my principal paid like, I don't know the exact number, like 7 to 10 bands to have Tyga basically come into the school. And he basically wasted our time for 2 hours. And they were basically, his hype man came out and we're like, y'all ready to see Tyga perform? He came out for 2 minutes and then said, stay in school, da-da-da-da-da. And then some of the bloods from my school like tried to come up and talk to him, and that's when security got him out. And then that was the end of that.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. I think he was also like on tour with like Chris Brown at that time, so like it was like kind of crazy at that time. But
yeah, I mean that was funny. I was like, the principal was trying to connect to the kids by bringing Tyga, but nobody really gave a fuck. So it is what it is. There's way better stuff they could have spent that money on, like getting us new computers or something.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean, man.
But fuck.
But you know, what was like your first like introduction to music, and like how did you even like get into rapping and making music?
So music, like, so my mom was an artist, not a music artist. Like, my mom paints, draws, and like she spent a lot of time like around like the res, around like First Nations and Aboriginals. So she spends a lot of time like learning how to like make jewelry with them and how they painted and how they like sculpted and different art. So that was like something that my mom kind of passed down to me. And she was always into music, but she was just into the drawing side, not the singing side. So my mom put me on to like just such a diverse range of music. It's honestly all of her responsibility that I'm like this. Is like, she put me on to stuff like Nina Simone, like James Brown, like Linkin Park, like Billy Talent, Green Day, you know what I'm saying? Like Bob Marley, Tupac. Like, it was such a wide range. Like, you know, in one breath, it would be the Sex Pistols. The next one, it would be fucking like like Eric Clapton, you know what I'm saying? So I really like heard everything. It was not, I wasn't like grew up on one genre. I heard everything. And like my first musical memories are like, you know, I have a few things mixed with me, but like I'm a majority Sicilian. So that is like something that, you know, my first musical memories are like my nonna playing like Pavarotti and like Frank Sinatra, like at like 4 or 5 years old.
Yeah,
And
true.
just listening to stuff like that.
And like Il Vovo and like, you know,
Yeah,
Andrea Bocelli and all that stuff.
exactly.
Yeah, I know
Yeah.
what you mean, man. And, you know, in terms of like getting into rapping and making music, like how did that like come about? And like even like with the whole like musical background and history, like I know your mom made music, like was like doing art and all that, but have you had like family or anyone else that like kind of did music?
That's the funny thing. No, I had like cousins like around my age. I had nobody like that like set a pavement, you know, that like was doing music and like were like, yo, here's the scene, you know. I had some like cousins, maybe a couple years older than me, that would DJ, and that kind of helped. But for me, it was more like, I don't know. I was getting to around like the first real hip hop album I remember hearing was "Me Against the World" by Tupac, and like that I remember listening to from front to back, and I was probably around like 7 or 8 years old. And then from there, it just kind of was like, there was, I wanted to do that. I just like, something was captivating to me where I'm like, I feel like I want to try. So what I would do is I'd wait till the beginning or the end of the songs. Like, you know, when the rappers are doing their call outs, the little intro, the little outro, and the beats playing, but they're just like, yeah, okay. Like I would rap then,
Yeah.
you know, and I would rap for like the 30 seconds for the intro and then put my bars out, and then I would just, then the song would start. So I would just start doing that to all the songs I like. And then it just kind of started going from there. And then it would start to be like, you know, we came from the era in my school where like if you were bad, you were getting booed. Like if you come to the freestyle in the lunchroom and you're shit, people are gonna laugh at you. So it was more like that. I remember the first time I ever came with something that like wasn't good enough, and I was like, fuck, I went home and I'm like, literally, like I was like, not again, you know? So I went to my room and I literally just started writing, freestyling every single day until I like had a grasp on it. Then I came back and I'm like, all right, let's see what I got now. And then I made a lot of people shut up. So that's what kind of fueled me. I just kept doing that. We just isolate myself, go into the hyperbolic time chamber, and pop out different.
Ah, for sure, man.
I
And
couldn't help but notice you're deep in thought, probably brainstorming ideas for your next music project, am I right?
Yeah, I've been thinking about shooting a music video for my latest track, but I'm not sure where to start.
Well, Max, you're in luck because I have just the solution for you. Have you heard about Y2A3 Productions?
Can't say I have. What's so special about them?
Only everything. Y2A3 Productions is the go-to for up-and-coming artists like yourself. They're all about helping talents like you win over audiences with their unique visual style, and get this, at super affordable rates.
Affordable rates, you say? That sounds almost too good to be true. But what about the quality?
Oh, Max, you won't be disappointed. Y2A3 Productions has a reputation for delivering top-notch quality that rivals the big names in the industry. Plus, they're all about collaboration, ensuring your vision shines through every frame.
That sounds amazing. But how do I know they're the right fit for me?
Max, trust me when I say Y2A3 Productions is more than just a production company, they're your creative partners. They'll work tirelessly to understand your style, your message, and bring it to life in a way that resonates with your audience.
Well, you've certainly piqued my interest, Ava. I think I'll give Y2A3 Productions a call and see what magic we can create together.
You won't regret it, Max. Get ready to take your music to the next level.
for sure, man. And would you say that was like kind of like the inspiration on like even becoming a rapper and like artist and like even like taking it like seriously and all that?
There's probably the two people that I'll credit. There's three. So there's one, like again, like I'll say Tupac. Tupac's probably my favorite artist. He said a quote basically that like really stuck with me my whole life. Is I always did bad in school because of my eyes. And the first time I ever got a good grade was in grade 8. I had a project that I never got along with my teachers or whatever, but they finally gave me a project I could pick. I picked Tupac and I got to like go through his life. And there was a quote that stuck with me to this day, and it was, I might not be the mind that changes the world, but I might be the mind that sparks the change in someone that does.
Yeah.
And that made me be like, that made me get the confidence to be like, maybe I have something to say, and maybe that could help somebody. And maybe if I don't make that change, somebody else will hear something that I went through, that they're going through, and they might not have guidance, and that could make a change for them. So then that kind of inspired me to get started. And then my best friend, he passed away when we were 16, RIP David Powell, but he got me into, like, we freestyled together. We met at about like 12 years old in middle school. And then he was kind of nasty with it. He was just sick with it. He liked all the underground people, Jedi Mind Tricks, Vinny Paz, Necro, Immortal Technique. So, like, he would kind of show me that stuff. And then I would kind of, like, sharpen the sword, you know what I mean? And just go from there. And then lastly, I have to give it up to, I have a buddy named Spenny from Barrie. And he was just kind of in mutual circles, you know? And, you know, I fell off performing and rapping for a little bit, and he was somebody that always, like, I'll go to one of his shows, this guy would just give me the mic. Now, all of a sudden, I'm in front of a crowd of, like, 20 people with a mic in my hand, and I'm like, I'm not going to look lame and, like, not spit. So I really got to, like, you know, I would have definitely found my way eventually, but he really helped speed up the process for me where, like, I didn't really feel like performing. I didn't feel like doing that shit, but then he gave it to me, and it was just like, go, pushed me into the deep end. And I just figured out how to swim. It was that or drown, right? So.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Yeah, nah, Spinny's good people and all that. Like, I've seen him perform at, like, many shows and all that. Like,
Great
I've
performer.
seen him. He actually just dropped a project with, I think, Eric Gordon, like, last year and all that too. And, like, it was actually, like, pretty good with some of the stuff and all that. And he incorporated, like, that into a set too. So it's, like, definitely, like, amazing to see that connection and all that.
Oh, he's a great performer. One of the people that, like, I looked up to a lot, you know, coming up and just, like, sharpening a sword. So Eric Gordon Studios even up the street from here. So
true.
It's, it's a small world when you really like start breaking down the Toronto scene.
Yeah, because I knew them all from like 40 Ounce Heroes and all that too. Like I think the first time I met Spenny, we were actually at Grand Gerard Theater and all that, and like I was like basically taking pics for like 40 Ounce and all that, and like basically that event was like pretty lit. Like everyone was like freestyling. John, who also runs like 40 Ounce, like he's like freestyling Spenny. LS Hip Hop and all that. Friggin' this guy that runs like Waterfront Studios and all that too. Like,
okay, yeah.
So yeah, like it was like pretty lit to see like the amount of people that were like performing and all that too. So
he's a great performer. Just somebody that he good body of work. He's been putting in work for a long time. Got to give him his flowers, you know.
Yeah, for sure, man. And like I know that you already talked about like your influences and all that too. But which artists would you like to work with like musically someday and all that?
Honestly, that's such a hard question. Like I remember just like. Whenever people ask me this, like, but yeah, like, there's a few, like, you know, I'd love to work with, like Mozzie. Like, Mozzie's somebody I look up to a lot, you know, his music's got me through a lot of hard times. And just, like, you know, some of the legends that I would look up to, like, you know, I'd love to be on a track with, like, Method Man.
Oh, true.
You know, like, Wu-Tang was something that really inspired me to, like, they were kind of the first pioneers of, like, putting a group together and doing it themselves. And like, they might have had some labels in the mix, but they did most of it themselves. They were responsible for their own success. Where like some artists, they take a back seat and the label pushes them. Like RZA really manufactured everything for them. So that was just everything about it. Because for me, it was not just music. Like I'm very interested in business and just moving accordingly. Like, you know, I think that's a problem with a lot of artists is they just in it for the music. They're not in it for the business side. And you can tell. Yeah. And they waste people's time.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean, man. And I know I definitely agree. We'll definitely get more onto that like later on and all that too. So, but I want to talk about like Dungeon Dwellers and all that too. And like, how did you even like form that collective? And you know, how was it like forming that?
Honestly, so it wasn't always Dungeon Dwellers. We had another collective like back in the day called DZE, and it was kind of like the roots of that. We all linked up in high school at Oakwood, and we were all going through similar problems in politics. So we kind of clicked up together just to kind of have each other's back and make sure, you know, that we were all good. And that's just kind of how it started. We all liked rap. We all liked underground rap. Kind of turned into a force to be reckoned with in terms of like, like we were all into it. I was nasty with the freestyles. Some of my dogs were really nice with the writtens. And then, like I said, when my good friend passed away, my best friend, I kind of didn't want to rap anymore. Yeah. Because I was 16, I was like, fuck it. We kind of started together, so I'm like, I don't see the point of this. So I didn't care. But then my other friends continued, my homies and shit, they continued. And then we started having shows at like 16. So that started to be like, you know, kind of showed me like, okay, maybe we could do this. We were having shows where maybe 100 people were pulling up at 16. And then, you know, we all took kind of like a backseat. So kind of what happened was, you know, because of all the problems in politics in Toronto, some of my friends decided to stop rapping.
Oh, true.
Because like they were like, you know what, I don't see a future in this because of all the negativity. So Dungeon Dwellers is kind of the meaning of everybody that's stuck around. Dungeon Dwellers represents, for people that don't know, is no matter what you come from, no matter what you started at, no matter the negativity or pain or however you get painted, that you can turn it into something beautiful and you can stand on it and show that like, I came from here, but I turned it to this.
Yeah.
So Dungeon Dwellers are for the people that stayed, they dwelled in the dungeon no matter what. They stayed. We didn't move away. We figured it out and made it happen regardless. So,
Yeah.
So that's what it is. Everybody that stuck around from those times, kind of that group turned into Dungeon Dwellers. And
Yeah, nah, for sure, man. Nah, it's amazing to see and all that, and like, you know, even the idea of like performing and all that too, because you started out like, you know, very small and all that from like the early 2010s until now and all that. So tell me more about that impact, like, you know, even performing and your growth as like a performing artist.
so that was the thing, is that like, so when my dog started having shows, to be honest, because I was like, I said fuck rap at that point. So I'm like, yo, I'll pull up and support my homies and shit. Like, that's like, of course, but I wasn't even trying to perform. So it kind of came more of like, you know, like I was in the ends, probably about 20 years old at this point now, 4 years after we started kind of having some shows. Some people moved away, some people quit rapping, whatever. Then I was like in the ends, and like, you know, we'd all link up to ball up, the people that are still part of Dungeon Dwellers to this day. And then like the freestyles would start. And I eventually got to the point where I'm like, I'm hearing everybody freestyle, and I'm like, yo, I gotta knock the dust off. And then I got like really competitive again. And then it took the time of like, I basically just sat in the lab and just honed my shit until I felt like I was ready. So then, yeah, so, because I didn't have social media, I had no presence on anything until about the first, like, yeah, I started social media like Instagram, April 2022. That's the first time I ever had an account.
Oh, true.
I never had Instagram, never had any of that. I didn't believe in it. I didn't like it. I don't like the posting shit. I'm trying to get better, you know, because I know some people want to see that stuff, but that was never really for me growing up.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean, man. And to even like speak more about like freestyling too and all that, you know, like I'll get back onto like the other questions too for a bit too. But knowing that you actually like freestyle like pretty well, like I've seen from like social media posts and all that, like what were like some techniques and skills that you used to become like a better like freestyler and all that?
Honestly, it's hard. It's a lot of practice. It's like people forget about that. They think that, oh shit, like how do you put these things together? And like, yeah, like I'ma still mumble and still do shit because I try to do it fully off the dome. I don't like to like try to come through with a whole written and be like, yo, I just spit that. Like that's a freestyle. Like I usually call that free verse. Like if I do a free verse, for me, that's more like I'll kind of set up the idea, or like I'll freestyle it and then I'll fix it.
All right.
You know what I mean? Like I'll record it on voice memo and I'll like have like maybe 50% of it, and then I'll fix the parts I fucked up, and then I'll write it within like 5 to 10 minutes. So I'll call that a free verse. Freestyle to me is fully off the dome. I just like, I have nothing to stand on, just go off that. So I think the biggest tip that I could give people is not getting caught in your head. And like, I think the problem is that people it's an art of figuring out the next line, but also where you're going from there. Because I think a lot of people get stuck on the one bar, but you need to think 2 bars ahead when you're freestyling. You need to know where this bar is going next. Because if you don't, you're gonna fall. And you're gonna, or you at least need to know how to pivot it. So
Yeah,
that's just kind of the thing. The more you do it and the more you hear different beats, and the better your vocabulary is, will make a big difference for you. Like my one of my best friends, Krubs, you know, he used to read the dictionary as a kid, and that actually made a difference. And I remember watching him, I was like, what the fuck are you doing, bro? And then like he started pulling out some crazy ass words, and I'm like, okay. So it made me start playing like just different like games on my phone, just anything I could learn to like get more words. And then that made a big difference for me. So yeah, just getting better at the wordplay, just stuff like that. Like, yeah, just spend some time, sit down, and don't be worried about fucking up.
Yeah, no, for sure, man.
It's all about being in your head. People that can't freestyle are too stuck in their head. That's just what it is.
Sure. And is that kind of like the ideal process, like even within the creativity when making music, or would you say you have like a different creative process, like even like when making music and all that?
Like to be honest, like I'd say I'd have like kind of 3 ways of making songs. So there's like, it really depends on the beat, the like how I'm feeling, stuff like that. So I have shit where I'll freestyle the whole thing. I'll turn on a mic, I'll freestyle it, I'll have 80% of the song done, and I fix up the little parts that maybe I need to redo the take or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Then besides that, if I don't know what to say, but I have a flow, I'll just hear the beat, mumble the flow, and then I'll play the flow back, and be like, okay, I hear a word here, I hear a word here, and then I'll build the song like that. Lastly this is the way that I don't normally get like this, but this is if like I need to get something done for someone and it's not hitting for me. Like I still like the song, but I'm having like not writer's block, but I'll brute force the beat. I'll literally like play it from the beginning, write the first bar, restart it, write the second bar, restart it, fix the second bar, restart, and just keep going through that. You know,
for sure, man. Like the second one too, like is it like kind of like so much like how Designer did it, like in Timmy Turner and all that, like he would like snap and all that, like do Timmy Turner, like kind of like the same.
Literally you'll just be like but not with and then eventually you'll be like, okay, I hear like 101 up and run and so like whatever, and then you just start building it like that. Same, you just go off the vibe, right?
For sure, man. And you know, getting back onto like the next question too, like how do you even like get your stage name Don Enzo and all that?
Shit, so that has like, it's kind of like a double entendre in terms of there's two meanings for it. So like the Don, like especially in like Sicilian culture, is like the head, the boss, right? Like the jefe, like type like that, right? But also, and then Enzo is translated to the head of the estate, basically. So like Don Enzo's basically, you know, the boss of the estate.
All right.
But my grandfather was named Don, and he actually passed away last year. And he was one of the people that, like, I guess, one of the only people that really believed in me in my family. Like, when I wanted to do shit like this, nobody really believed it. Like, go do something real. Like, what the fuck are you doing? You're wasting your time. But he was like, you know, if anybody could do it, you could do it. And I was performing as my collective, Dungeon Dwellerz. Wasn't performing as Don Enzo at the time. And then when he passed away, I was kind of like, all right. I was like, I wanted to incorporate it because people already called me Don because I resembled him a lot. So it was something that I was like, all right, I had to incorporate it in one way. And then also Enzo, I have my Zio was named Vincenzo, and he passed away as well 2 years before my grandfather. So I kind of felt like, you know, if I put these together, it had a meaning in the name itself, but then being able to pull it from my family experience, I could kind of immortalize them because, you know, like he died too young. Like my cousins don't have a dad anymore. So I felt like, you know, I can, if I take on their names, they're immortal. They live with me as long as I'm here. And they'll live forever through the music that I put out.
Likewise. No, I definitely know what you mean, man. And to even speak more about the music too, like you have the Creature that Claire made, Blue Moon, Moon Man, Beat the Odds, and like Floating and all that. So what were like the creative processes and inspirations for the tracks?
Honestly, it's just a lot of like, they're all part of a project that I have kind of coming out. I'll speak on a little bit more a little later, but it's called Trapped in the Dungeon. And basically, it's a lot of my own experience, a lot of my family's experience, a lot of my friends' experience, and shit that I saw that I wanted to put out and give people an outlet because my family dealt with, on one side, a lot of mental health issues, and on the other side, a lot of drug addiction. So I knew what it was like to see the struggle and people battling demons my whole life. And I could see it. And like sadness, like deep sadness, like depression, like just shit like that like chemically imbalanced, that like they don't know what's wrong with you and doctors are just trying to feed you pills. So a lot of my music comes from like Beat the Odds. Like I literally wrote that for people that we were coming up all together, and I felt like I needed to write this because of the problems that we were going through, to be like, no matter what, like remember, like even when we had an eviction notice posted, even when we had no food in the fridge, like remember, I'm telling you, if we stick to the plan, we can make it happen. So that's where a lot of those songs came from. Same with Blue Moon, like, and then songs like Creature were kind of like the introduction to me of just kind of be like, yo, like, you know, St. Clair West made was just a lot of my young adulthood, going to high school there. I went to Winona, which is on St. Clair, and I went to Oakwood, which is on St. Clair.
Yeah.
So I went to a lot of other schools too, but those were I spent a lot of time at Oakwood. I didn't graduate from there. I flunked out, but I did spend 4 years there. So that was kind of, I just wanted to be able to embody that of like the kind of experience of like seeing a lot of shit like that, going to a school with problems. You know, we had a few shootings. We had like, 2016, I didn't go there at the time, but there was a school shooter alert and the police arrested them because they made it was a lot of weird shit. Oakwood is a weird fucking school. Yeah. So like that was kind of like the introduction of like, I linked up with the producer, DJ Ghost. He's from Milan, so he's on the tour as well with us.
True.
So I kind of wanted to like that was kind of my introduction to the Italian market, to be like, you know, Santa Chiara, like we wanted to show them what it was like yo, we have Italians out here still, and what it's like for people in North America, and just try to see stuff like that, show them what it was. So
Yeah, for sure. No, I know what you mean, man. And you know, you've actually opened up for ReadyRockDee and all that, and he's also going to be on the tour for the WARSIDE World Tour. So tell me more about, you know, that experience, you know, performing, especially like opening up for ReadyRockDee, and you know, about the upcoming European and South America tour, the WARSIDE World Tour and all that.
yeah, man. Honestly, so it all came, like, funny enough, like, that's the thing. When I tell people that, like, I only started social media recently, like, a lot of people, they get a little salty about certain things, because I'll say this, like, bro, like, I know a lot of people, I'm good at communicating, and I like to treat music like a business, and the same thing. I like to be respectful, respect everybody like I'd want to be respected. You know what I'm saying? Because I learned that from, you know, my uncles and stuff. A lot of my family was in the military, so I learned kind of how to move from them. So I saw, like, basically I got that connection to even open for ReadyRockDee by going to venues and freestyling outside of them. I wasn't even performing. One of my friends would be performing, and I would just freestyle. I'd pull a crowd of like 10, 15, 20 people, and the promoter would come out and be like, who the fuck is this? Like, because what I was capitalizing on was, because shows are so long in Toronto, because I was having, like, and everybody goes out for their spliff breaks. I was capturing all the people who were smoking outside, that, you know how hard it is at some events when people start smoking outside to get them back inside. So I was like, all right, I can go outside with my Bluetooth speaker and just start freestyling. And that's just kind of how it was. I met the right people, got in the right spot, and then somebody offered. They were like, hey, do you want to open up for ReadyRockDee and Joey Cool, which was from Strange Music. And Joey Cool was, like, I looked up to a lot of people on Strange Music for a long time. And so that was the opportunity. But Joey Cool actually got held up at the border. He had I think it was a pending gun charge.
Oh,
so he couldn't come to Canada. So it was just ReadyRockDee. So, you know, some of the performers were a little discouraged. They were like, oh, the main act got canceled. We don't want to do it. But I'm like, nah, got to treat every show, whether it's 5 people, 100 people, like it's a major move. So I pulled up with everyone. And then they saw that, and they were like, whoa, this guy, like, the people that we brought from Toronto didn't bring as many people as this guy. So they were just like, you know, I went up to ReadyRockDee's manager, and we had a conversation as businessmen, and we're just kind of like, yeah, like, this is the type of energy and type of movements I'm trying to do. And they were like, bet. And they just kind of were like, any opportunity, they saw that I worked with artists they worked with. And then they were like, okay, this guy's serious. So they kind of extended the olive branch through that. They saw the work ethic, and they saw the people that I could bring, and the performances and everything.
Ah, for sure, man. And, you know, for the upcoming show, like in Europe and like in South America and all that, you know, what can fans expect for like the set and all that?
Shit, I mean, like, you know, it's going to be my introduction to a lot of different markets. So you guys are going to just expect, like, just, you know, good energy, a lot of, like, crazy bars, some songs that have not been heard yet, and just, it's going to be a preview of the album. I'm going to get a lot of shit out, and just, like, yeah, I'm dropping a lot of stuff, you know. I have tracksuits coming out, like, for my DDZ apparel, stuff like that. So that stuff's going to be at the forefront of the show, and just bringing Toronto to those places, and showing that, like, you know, we have some real spitters out here.
Oh, for sure, man. And to even speak more on like a lot of other stuff too and all that, you actually managed to meet Styles P and like Illmind. So tell me more about that backstory about that, and like what was like that experience like, and the advice they gave you into to being like successful like in the music industry and all that.
Yeah, man. Well, I met Styles P because a lot of my like homies, so like Dungeon Dwellerz, one of my best friends, Wayne, he was one of the people that helped me design kind of everything, because he was really good at the digital art. So we were really into the graffiti scene for a long time. So there's a graffiti shop downtown called Collective, and we know the owner, one of the main guys there. His name's Jedi, and basically they were doing like Styles P had a show in Toronto, and they were doing a meet and greet at Collective Paint Shop. It's just they sell all different markers. There's a lot of hip hop apparel in there, and just spray paint. So he was pulling up there. You were supposed to buy a ticket for it, but because I knew Jedi, I was kind of like, okay, I'm gonna just pull up. And I pulled up. His security wasn't too happy about me, but
True.
But Styles P was still like, you know, he gave me the time to be like, nah, I don't care, come through. And, you know, he talked to me. I got to give him a shirt. I got to just like, you know, chop it up with him for a bit, and he just kind of told me to keep going, and just everything else. You know, I wish I could have made it to the show, but our paths will cross again. But
sure.
with Illmind, that was I went to a festival called Imsta Festa that was basically hosted at Ryerson. That was just like a little conference, and 40 was actually speaking there, like Drake's producer, a bunch of other people. Illmind was there doing like an AI segment as well. So I got to meet him. I kind of saw him like walking around before he talked, and I'm not somebody that's like, everybody's the same as me in my eyes. So like I'll go up to anyone. So I was just like, yo, what's up, man? I just started telling him about like some of the music that like he put out that changed my life. Like he has a record with Joel Ortiz called Human. That record, I remember when it came out, it was really unique and really different. And I just kind of told him like, yo, that was one of my favorite things that you did. And just kind of chopped it up from there. So we still stay in contact lightly. It's eventually, you know, once I get a little bigger, I'm gonna reach out to all these guys again, you know. But I even got the opportunity to open up for Goose, by the way, which was just Conway the Machine's like one of his like younger heads, you know. So it was cool just to get to meet that whole camp and like see the energy that they're bringing, trying to, you know, just make as many connections as I can. When I go to Europe, I'll be opening for Snack the Ripper and Onyx in Poland. So Sticky Fingers, Fred Rostar, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to make the connections wherever I can, you know.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean, man. And you know, we just only have like some of these like questions left and all that. But how do you even feel about the whole Toronto GTA Canadian music scene at the moment? And do you feel that there should be some changes on the direction of where the scene should go to?
Like, yo, I can't really speak on Canada as a whole yet because I need to spend a little bit more time getting out there. You know what I mean? Like, and like experiencing it more. But for Toronto specifically, I do really wish that like there was a little less hatred. A lot of people are salty and just angry in the scene, and like a lot of people can't put the politics aside. And I understand like when like it's deeper than music, it's hard to drop it. But you know, I do want to see like a little bit more growth, and like, you know, if you do want to rap about certain topics, just do it a little more creatively. Like, you know, I want to hear some new shit. That's it. I don't want to hear repackaged shit anymore. That's all I mean. Like, give me something creative and a fresh perspective. And I think like I actually think I heard you talk about it, and this is something that I've been saying for a long time. Was I think the shows in the city are running way too late. They have way too many performers. You need to cut it down because you're having shows on a Wednesday that you're running till 2 a.m. that like 10 people can stay till. If you started at 7 and ended at 12, like you would have new people that never even heard of you that were just chilling at the venue before that'll see you. And it's a potential for the scene to grow further. I think like, yeah, it's cool to have 2 a.m. shows, but I don't think it should be the norm for every show to run that late.
Yeah.
Not every show is meant to run that late.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean, man. 100% too. And, you know, just with like the upcoming stuff, like I know you have your project that's going to come out like this year and all that. So tell me more about that and like what and the other plans that you have like for this year in terms of like music, creative project and so forth.
Yeah. So basically, I have a project titled Trapped in the Dungeon. This has been like a long time in the making. It's going to be a 14, maybe 15 track project, you know. If I'm feeling nice, I'll drop the little bonus track. We'll see. But it is a project that is mostly engineered by me, Young Fame, and B3. I met Young Fame through my Seneca program for basically audio engineering and music production. And that kind of like, we became really good friends because we were basically the only two people from Toronto. So we instantly kind of connected and just started chopping it up from there. Sure. But he's really helped me develop my sound and like get shit better because he's patient with me. I'm very meticulous and I'll go over a mix a lot. So I need somebody that like when I'm mixing to bounce ideas off, and not only that, be able to like not feel like I'm bothering you, you know, like that you want to get this as perfect as I want to get it. So that's a big thing. So Trapped in the Dungeon slated for end of September 2024. The album art is actually done by my homie Griffin, and he's a ex-Adult Swim animator. So he did animator for shows like Psy-Ops and stuff like that. So he's doing the whole like kind of visualizer, the cover in the back.
All right.
So I have a bunch of shit kind of coming with that. We're gonna hear more about it in the future. But yeah, it's gonna be a really good. It's an album you got to listen to from the first song to the last.
All right. Bless. No, we'll definitely plug that in, like, you know, in the upcoming future, like when, like on our playlist and all that type of stuff too and all. So yeah, no, we'll definitely keep that in support and all that. And do you have any closing remarks you'd like to say and all that?
Sure. Well, straight up, I got the newest single just dropped April 30th called I Don't Know on all platforms. I got a video coming out for that as well. Shout out Logan. He did the first video for Creature that touched 58,000 views, you know. We have another 3 videos on the way for this project. I'm gonna kind of try to celebrate some shit. I got other projects lined up in the future. I got a few mixtapes that are gonna be coming up after this, but right now, Trapped in the Dungeon is the focus. You guys are just gonna get a bunch more content from me, man. Like, there's a few series I'm planning to launch. Like, there's just plenty of stuff. Just tap in, and you guys are gonna see the progression. I'm trying to do some shit for the city where we could all eat.
All right, man. And, you know, we're going to, like, tap in for a freestyle, too, for a bit, too.
Yeah.
Like, Don Enzo is going to be spitting some dope parts and all that. I'm going to step out. He's going to step in. You know, he's going to body it, you know?
You already know what it is, man. Dungeon Dwellerz, West End Worldwide. Try to tell them 100 times, man, but they still don't listen. So I guess we got to do it like this. Right, Yash? Man, I came up out the trenches. Remember days I was sitting in them dirty project benches. Motherfucker know it's loud just from the fucking stenches. I remember feeling like I'm getting choked up inside those clenches. I fall off and jump back on. I don't give a fuck, homie. Man, this shit we really on. I'm a real Don Sicilian, tryna stack it to the Sicilian. Yeah, fuck your Phillions. I could bend a verb. Fuck you nerds. Try to show it, I just really came up out the fucking curb. The beat back, then I bounce back. All these motherfuckers run they trap, but they ain't never trapped. They talking about some shit that they never fucking lived. I'm trying to do it big. If you got a problem, split they wig. Listen to me. Dog, I did this shit so grimy. The West End where you find me. I remember days thinking like, why me? Smoke weed till I'm seeing Siamese. I don't understand all this shit, but they be trying to arm me. They be trying to slime me. So I do it right. Motherfucker got a problem, get a long kiss goodnight. You know how we moving, yo shit illusions. Everything you spittin' lies, it get confusing. You cruising for a bruising, motherfucker, I ain't losing, I be winning. These motherfuckers got it, man, I've been the same way from the beginning. I gotta do it right, all these motherfuckers want a problem, my team gon' take flight. Listen to me, I remember days it was just looking trite. Now I remember all the times that I was really out of sight. Yeah. This the art of war, Sun Tzu. These motherfuckers talking like they really bout that gun fu. I don't understand, I kick this shit just like it's kung fu. Try to do this, I'm about to sun you. I'm moving till I'm bigger than pun. Motherfucker warlord like Attila the Hun. Listen to me, dog, it's history bars. These motherfuckers want a problem, I be kicking on Mars. I be out of space, I be out this orbit. Motherfucker got a problem, yeah, I'm trying to make the Forbes list. Pockets been too fat. These motherfuckers got a problem, homie, please move back. You ain't wanted with me, dog, I'm doper than crack. I tried to get it, took a loss, but I got it right back. Now listen to me, they don't understand the way that we living. I tried to get it, I had to take it for what never was given. We fall off but keep flowing. I remember I started as a youngin', but I kept growing. These motherfuckers used to know, but now they all knowing. I just had to show them what it be, but you know I've been chosen. Heart been frozen for a minute, but we'll give him one more. Fuck it. Wait for it. Okay, now the beat doesn't come back. Yeah, I had to do it. You know, little bounce back, little bars back and forth, rope-a-dope with it. No matter if you fall off, you keep it spitting. You know what it is?
Likewise. You know?
Nah, we just having fun out here, man.
Yeah, likewise, man. Yo, Don Enzo, that was sick. I'm not even gonna front, you know? Like, that's like probably like one of the craziest freestyles I've had like in a minute and all that. I mean, I think not even the first one for this year. I think it's like probably like the best one for this year so far and all that.
Shit,
I don't know what could top that and all that, but yeah, this is episode 84 of TLOY Talks. You know, Josh, also known as Yashu, Don Enzo, you know, tap into like all of his platforms, Instagram, YouTube, much more, Spotify, Apple Music and all that. For the platform, you know, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Buzzsprout, YouTube, much more. Tap into his music, tap into his shows if you're in Europe or in South America. Like the tick links like in the bio and all that, like on his platform. So yeah, definitely cop a show if you're coming through and all that. And yeah, I mean, this is episode 84. You know, you can get this on all platforms. A lot more coming soon and all that. And yeah, we'll definitely be dropping more and all that. So I'm definitely going to sign off right here and all that, you know, so.
Yeah. Shout out Yash, you know. This is really off the dome. None of that pre-written shit. Get your bars up, bro. You'll see when it's really out here like that. You take a little bumps and bruises, you keep it moving. It's not about how hard you hit, it's about how you get hit. Keep it going,
early. Come on now.